question of the week. Did I hear that?
Kody Brown's going to be on Special Forces World's Toughest Test Season 4 on Fox.
Yes, I heard that several months ago, but I couldn't tell you that, yes, Kody is going to be on this show. Let's see what the show entails.
16 household names have left their lavish lifestyles behind.
I don't care how rich or famous they are. They've entered our world, and they will play by our rules.
Special Forces America's Toughest Test came out in 2022 in the United States. However, this is based on a British show of a similar name, but obviously we're going to change it for geography, that takes a bunch of famous people and has them do like special forces training, like think Navy SEAL stuff most of us can't do. I wouldn't even try. And I got 39, Kody's 56. Okay. Seriously, before I get the well, could you do it comments? No, I wouldn't even try. At bedtime, I need like an emotional support Fallout game, little cuppy of warm milk. I can't. Before we get to this, while you're learning how to body check that hard, who has graced the halls of this show as their esteemed alumni? Figured we'd start with this one because we just talked about, but one of the alumni from the first season was Kate Gosselin, and I'm going to tell you right now, if they were on the same season, you're going to put Kody and Kate up against each other, my money's on Kate. That's all I got to say. But I mean, this season he is on with Teresa Giudice, whichever season you're watching, depends on the pronunciation. I think she's gonna go ahead and eat his lunch. I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. We've got Mel to the B, who was on the first season and did voluntarily withdraw. So that's the thing, only 2 people gonna pass. And most everyone voluntarily withdraws, because I mean, they do like the stuff. You know, so like, if you don't know this, when you're going through boot camp, there will be an exercise where you go into a gas chamber and they let the gas out and you have to take your mask off and you have to walk out. Kind of thing. I know that when my ex-husband was in there, one guy tried to hold his breath, so they poof, right? You know what I mean? So it's like a pretty hardcore experience. They even do that. Kenya Moore twirling right in after being fired from Real Housewives of Atlanta earlier this year. Oh my God, it was a whole thing. She showed some pictures of someone else from the internet, you know, that sort of thing. That's a whole other story though. But Kenya is from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and again, another one. Why can't they be on the same season? Kenya would just snatch him up. Jamie Lynn Spears. And Pinsky, oh my, what? And Pinsky, whose every move really drives home, I want to be a doctor and not a reality TV personality. Season 2, Savannah Chrisley. Brian Austin Green, you may know him as the ex-husband of Megan Fox, or like this little 90210 thing from back in the day. Personal note if I fumbled that one. Megan, I mean, not Brian. Keep in mind, I picked the ones that I knew, and Tara Reid from early thousands American Pie, that whole situation, then you get into Sharknado, is the whole thing. It's like the most random mixed bag of tithing to TLC and everything else we've covered, but JoJo Siwa was there in season 2 also. So basically, it's just a bunch of people who love being on reality TV, even if they have to go so far as to be gassed to do it. Carrie Hart was on season 3. You may know him from motocross and like stuff like that in the X Games, but realistically, probably better known as Pink's husband. Honestly, I'm sorry, it's just what it is. Or back in the day, he was on The Surreal Life, which, side note, I have all of those on DVDs. Maybe someday we'll look at those, but it is bad. Like, bad. Denise Richards was also on season 3, who's going through a really hard public thing. And that season of Real Housewives, when she was on with him, I was like, oh, I don't know if he gives me the good business. So there's that. But I'm not going to say what she's from if you don't know Denise Richards. Go Google. You go right. I don't care if you finish this video, even though it does greatly affect my analytics. Just go find that out right. Go. Season 4, but before we get to Kody, Eva the Diva's going to be there too. You might know her from America's Next Top Model, being one of the only successful people who won that show. That's a whole other conversation we need to have. There's just so many things that are coming up right now. But she was also on Real Housewives for a little bit. I'm not sure if she's still on, so tell me in the comments. Season 4, of course, is going to bring Kody Brown, which the first publicity stills, I was a bit surprised. I'll be real. Because even with all that professional level editing, we're not talking Facetune, we're talking the big boys here, I still cannot find the six-pack abs that led to the just gross objectification of this poor man by Janelle. I will say good job with the body check. I try that hard to go that far with it, and I just end up... One thing I want to point out, a lot of these people went on as husband and wife couples, and I promise you Robin was invited, and did not want to come. But you know what? Honestly, I would have said no. I would have stepped out of that one as well. But he will also be on with Teresa Giudice Giudice, you know, whichever one we're going with, and her daughter Gia. And they're not too up on putting up with the ridiculousness of men who they're not married to. Will Kody make it to the winner's circle? You mean the man who brought us lines like,
just from the very beginning, Robin laid me down in a rose garden of trust.
of course, this banger.
And just the knife in the kidneys over all these years.
Wasted, because there's actually an H in that, but it's a long clip. This is already a long video. He takes too much of a pause, whatever. But do I think Kody's going to make it to the finish line? Well, let's put it this way. I think he's going to make it as close to winning as his hairline has made it to his eyebrows. This will be premiering September 25th on Fox. But I don't think we're going to recap it, honestly. A lot of people are going to be recapping it. But however, we might come in to watch a few clips of him finding out who he really is versus who he thinks he is. I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you then.